Bom dia a todos. Vamos dar início então a nosso evento da Cátedra de Estudos Irlandeses William Butler Yeats. So I would switch into English because here there are many visitors from abroad, and then I would like to call the Associate Director of International Cooperation, Professor Maurício Baptista, to come to the table, Ambassador Bryan Glynn of Ireland, Consul General Sharon Lennon, Professora Munira Mutran, Honorary Director of the Chair, and Dr. Rosalie Haddad, Vice President of the Brazilian Association of Irish Studies, and also an associate researcher of the William Butler Yeats Chair of Irish Studies. It is a great pleasure to welcome you all to the opening activities of the William Butler Yeats Chair of Irish Studies 2016. As you know, this year we are commemorating the centenary of 1916 and the figure of Roger Casement. And we are during the Easter week, so it is very appropriate also this event here at WUSPI. I would like to tell you that this is the third event. The first one was organized by Ambassador Bryan Glynn on the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day in Brasilia, and co-organized with Angus Mitchell. He is the person who brought the figure of Roger Casement in Brazil and compiled the majority of all his registers and published them and brought them into light. Then we had, of course, the second event that was co-organized by Mariana Bolfarini and David Leao from the Federal University of Manaus. And so the whole group of the guest speakers have been there, and now they are here, so it's a lecture tour that they are doing from Brasilia, Manaus, and São Paulo to finish the first part of these events that will be done throughout the whole year. I would like to thank then, first of all, the guest speakers, Jane Ochelmeyer from Trinity College Dublin, Carlos Paramo from Columbia University, Leopoldo Bernucci from the University of California, Davis, Professor Luke Gibbons from the National University of Ireland, Maynooth, Professor Tina O'Toole from Limerick University, and then all our Brazilian guest speakers, Luis Felipe Alencastro, Maria Helena Machado, Guilherme de Assis Almeida from WUSP University and from UFGV. And then I would like to give a big thanks also to Senor Jaime Antonio Vázquez Valcarce from Iquitos, Peru, who was the one who helped us to build up the exhibition of Silvino Santos that will be launched in the afternoon. Then I would also like to thank all the colleagues that are coming from other universities, Professor Dominique Vieira Coelha dos Santos, da Universidade de Blumenau, Elisa Lima Abrantes, da UFRJ, Professora Mariana Bolfarini, também da IFT SP, daqui da Universidade Federal de São Paulo, Vitor Alevato do Amaral, da UFRJ, Maria Rita Drummond Viana, da Universidade Federal de Santa Catarina. And I would like to thank also the filmmaker Aurelio Michilis and Patrick Leblanc from the Film Productions. All of you that are gathered here are exactly part of this project of bringing Roger Casement into the history of Brazil. So I won't take time to contextualize the event, as Ambassador Bryan Glynn will do that, and all the lecturers will do that. But the importance of these events is that they address an important chapter in the history of Ireland with the 1916 Easter Rising as the spark going towards the independence of Ireland, and then also to the Brazilian history, mainly the Amazon's history. So I would like to call Professor Mauricio Batista to give the welcome to all of you from the International Relations Office. Please.
Dear Ambassador of Ireland, Bryan Glynn, dear Consul General of Ireland, Sharon Lennon, dear Vice Dean of Faculty of Humanities, Professor João Roberto Faria, and Head of the Department of Modern Letters, Professor Álvaro Faleiros, and also Honor Director of William Yeats, Chair Morita Mutran, and Vice President of the Brazilian Association of Irish Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening of the academic activities of the WB East Chair 2016, which is also celebrating the centenary of Eastern Rising. It's a great honor to receive the Ambassador Bryan Glynn and the General Consul Sharon Lennon. So I think it's very honored to host this event, to host this chair here at USP. And I'll mention a few things about USP that I think appropriate to say here. We are a large university that has as two of the most important assets, in my view, the people. So we have around 100,000 students, which are well selected and focused in their studies in all levels. And we have 6,000 faculty, which are focusing attention to research and teaching. And they give their life to this university. As one of the important example here is Professor Izarra. So, and I think you choose really wisely to have her as the ambassador of USP in terms of our studies for Ireland. So it is a chair that's very important for us, develop research and academic exchange between the countries in all fields of studies. So we are very honored to host this chair here. We also host other chairs in the same meaning, in the same ways, and we think this is one very important way to share culture of the university with other international institutions, and to show to foreign institutions which are our best assets. I'm sure that USP has a good reputation in international academic fields, and the main reason is because of initiatives like this one, and the dedication of people that are involved in chairs, especially on the WB East Chair. So thank you very much. Congratulations to host this event, and I hope you'll have success on this also this initiative. Thank you very much.
Professor Sergio Adorno is, he couldn't come. He is the Dean of the of the Faculty of Humanities, and he sent his message to Ambassador and Bryan Glynn and Consul General Sharon Lennon. Sorry. I'm going to read his message. Impossibilitado de comparecer em virtude de compromisso institucional para o qual fui convocado, venho em nome da Faculdade de Filosofia, Letras e Ciências Humanas da Universidade de São Paulo manifestar congratulações aos dirigentes e membros da Cátedra de Estudos Irlandeses pela oportunidade de realização do colóquio Roger Casement and the 1916 Centenary. Tenho sido testemunha da riqueza de iniciativas que a Cátedra tem acolhido, em especial aquelas que celebram a vida política, a obra e a personalidade de Casement. Iniciativas dessa ordem não apenas estreitam relações entre povos, nações e culturas, como também contribuem para despertar mútuo interesse na valorização do patrimônio intelectual universal. Nesta oportunidade, em que, em nome da professora Laura Izarra, cumprimento os organizadores do evento, aproveito para transmitir minhas congratulações ao Sr. Bryan Glynn, embaixador da Irlanda, cônsul-geral Sharon Lennon, ao professor Raul Machado, aqui representado pelo professor Maurício Batista, que também se encontra no mesmo evento do professor Sérgio, presidente da UCANI, e a todos os pesquisadores nacionais e estrangeiros que contribuirão com suas intervenções. Professor Dr. Sérgio Adoro. Eu gostaria também de agradecer a presença de Viviane da Anunciação. She is coming from Cambridge. She is working at Cambridge University Press, and Professora Noelia Borges, who is coming from Universidade Federal da Bahia, de Salvador, Bahia. Sorry I didn't mention you before, but all of you are very much welcome. So now I will call Ambassador Bryan Glynn to give his words.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great honor for me to be here today at the University of São Paulo for the opening of academic activities in 2016. The Embassy of Ireland has now, I think we can call a long-standing partnership with the chair, the WDH's Chair of Irish Studies here in São Paulo. And I was delighted to sign on behalf of the Ministry a new 3-year Memorandum of Understanding continuing our relationship for the years 2016, 2017 and 2018, which also coincide with my remaining years here in Brazil. So you'll probably see me here on at least one occasion every year. Last year, for the opening of the academic year, we had the presence of Minister for Education, Jan O'Sullivan. As you know, both Brazil and Ireland are having interesting political times at the moment, so we didn't have as many ministers to distribute around the world this year. But the advantage for me is that I'm much more relaxed coming here today than I was last year. And as Laura said, the event that we already had in Brasilia is over, so I'm doubly relaxed. I'm here to speak very briefly, but also to participate and enjoy the day's events. I'm going to talk a little bit, not very much, about Roger Casement, put into context his life and work, and also the centenary that we're commemorating this year. You'll obviously hear from other more expert speakers during the day on particular aspects of Casement's life. I'm also particularly glad to participate in events where I can speak in English, as it also makes me even more relaxed than usual. Roger Casement was a truly remarkable man. His life and work spanning 3 continents, an imperial consular service, and a nationalist revolutionary movement. Operating within the confines of a bureaucracy, he carved out a role as one of the earliest modern human rights defenders in Africa and here in Latin America. Having reached the pinnacle of his career and been knighted by King George V, he rejected his chosen station in life and became an ardent defender of the right of one small nation to its independence. The tragic end to his life, executed for treason, and with a shadow cast on his moral integrity, led him to being written out of history for many decades. In the course of today, we'll hear many expert speakers examine Casement's work and life and also consider his legacy in Brazil. And as Lara has already mentioned, I'm particularly grateful to the scholars who have travelled from near and far to present papers today, and their generosity in travelling not just here but also to Manaus in a transcontinental journey from Brasilia to Manaus to here, so that they could participate in this event commemorating the life of an exceptional Irish hero. The Embassy and the Consulate General of Ireland in São Paulo received funding for this event from the Ireland 2016 Fund. And this fund is dedicated to the commemoration of momentous events in Irish history from 100 years ago. In Ireland, we're in the midst of not just a year of commemoration, but a decade of commemoration, spanning the period from 1912 to 1922. And the series of events that led to both the independence of Ireland, but also the partition of Ireland and the creation of Northern Ireland. And this year, given the 100th anniversary of the Easter Rising, is probably the most important year of this decade of commemorations. The Easter Rising, which you will hear much more about from Jane Allmeyer, our next speaker, on the 24th of April 1916, saw an attempt to set up an Irish Republic on the part of a small vanguard of revolutionaries. After a week of fighting with 450 people dead, the rising was crushed. The British military authorities, incensed by what they perceived as a stab in the back during the First World War, executed the leaders and alienated the Irish public with a heavy-handed reaction to the rising. Casement travelled to Ireland from self-imposed exile in Germany in an effort to stop the rising. The British authorities were aware of his movements, and he was arrested on arrival in Bannistrand, County Kerry, on the 21st of April and transferred to prison in London. In the newspaper this morning, I see that there is a document from Roger Casement is being auctioned, a map he drew for his interrogators in Scotland Yard, showing where the treasure was buried in Bannistrand. And in the good tradition of Irish revolutionaries, he only told them half the story. When they went to dig up the treasure, they found much more than he claimed. So this is something that there's still a lot of live interest, especially in Ireland at the moment. After his arrival in Bannistrand, as I said, he was arrested and transferred to prison in London. Following a trial, he was executed by hanging on the 3rd of August 1916. The last of the leaders of the rising to be executed, and ironically one of those who had tried to stop it from happening. The commemoration of the events of 1916 taking place this year is intended to be measured and reflective. It's also intended that it will be informed by a full acknowledgement of the complexity of historical events and their legacies, the multiple readings of history, and the multiple identities and traditions which are part of the Irish historical experience. In remembering those who died in the struggle for Irish freedom, we remember also the 40,000 Irish soldiers who died in the bloody battles of the First World War. The commemorations of 2016 belong to everyone on the island of Ireland and to our friends and families overseas, regardless of political or family background or personal interpretation of our modern history. The government is committed to ensuring that 2016 will be a year of rich and diverse activities when the full complexity of the last 100 years on the island of Ireland can be explored and celebrated. Formal state celebrations will, as they have always done, mark 1916 as the moment when Irish nationalism joined forces with a revolutionary, cultural and language movement to forge an irresistible movement towards self-determination. The proclamation of the Republic, drawing on the ideals of that generation, has remained an inspiration over succeeding generations. Ireland 2016, as a year of reflection and engagement for everyone on the island of Ireland, goes far beyond the formal marking of a key historical moment. It's a once-in-a-century invitation to people of all ages, at home and overseas, to shape and then actively engage in a diverse range of historical, cultural and artistic activities, all designed to facilitate reflection, commemoration, celebration, debate and analysis, and an active reimagining of the future. Pausing here for a moment, I'd note the very, very interesting debate that emerged in the Irish theatre world when it came to the formal commemoration of this period and the absence of female playwrights, which sparked a very positive intervention with its own hashtag, as we're in our modern world, of Waking the Feminists. And the events that have taken place after that, I think, have provided an opportunity for us to recalibrate not just the way we think about women playwrights in our modern society, but also the role that women played in the Easter Rising. Ireland 2016, the series of events, will offer the world an insight into our particular journey towards independent statehood and how we fared post-independence, while at the same time we will deepen our knowledge of ourselves by understanding the journeys of other nations. Remember also that the independence of Ireland was achieved in 1922, exactly 100 years after the independence of Brazil. And I know that 1922 was also a period of great reflection in Brazil, and perhaps the beginning of a rather turbulent time in Brazilian history. The seminar today on the life and work of Roger Casement, who gave his life for the ideal of an independent Ireland, takes place in the context and the spirit that I've mentioned. It offers us an opportunity to reflect on his contribution to the defence of human rights and his role in the movement that led to the independence of Ireland. As we reflect on a turbulent time in world history, covering colonial exploitation and the emergence of modern nationalism, I think it's also fitting to look today at the relationship that Ireland has with its nearest neighbour, the United Kingdom. The historical events discussed today speak of an antagonistic relationship, culminating in a reluctant recognition of Irish independence and the partition of the island. But from the vantage point of today, this account of tension between our two peoples tells only part of that story. Given our past history, it's all the more remarkable that the relationship has been completely reset in little more than a generation. The current relationship between Ireland and the UK is that of a strong and stable partnership anchored in our common membership of the European Union and with broad consensus between us on the common challenges we face. To paraphrase two of our great poets, W.B. Yeats and Seamus Heaney, peace may have come dropping slow, but we are fortunate in 2016 to have lived in a time when hope and history rhyme. Casement himself was the product of a dual identity, born into a Protestant, Unionist and British household, and yet becoming convinced throughout his life that only an independent Ireland could achieve its full potential, separated from Britain. What would he make of the modern world? He would no doubt be disappointed that the indigenous peoples he had helped to save from exploitation had not yet succeeded in realising their full human rights. He would be impressed, on the other hand, that their rights are increasingly enshrined in law and that there is widespread support for their protection. I hope that he would recognise the strong role played internationally by Ireland in the protection of human rights, and that he would welcome it being recognised as one of our core values as a people. As someone with a mixed identity himself, I hope also that he would hail the accommodation reached on the island of Ireland as the most noble expression of compromise, cooperation and cohabitation. The people of his part of the island of Ireland now have the right, recognised by both governments, to be British or Irish or both. So it's in that spirit of reflection that I invite you to participate in today's seminar. Laura will also mention later on the fabulous exhibition, the picture exhibition, which we have in this very building. I also encourage you to visit it. If you're in Brasilia, you will also have an opportunity to visit a picture exhibition. One of the great advantages of Brasilia is that you can have such exhibitions outdoors because the weather is so fabulous. So, we also hope that before the year is out, we will have a similar event in the exotic location of Palmas, the capital of Tocantins, and Laura and I will also discuss trying to do something in Belém do Pará. And I think then we will have given Roger Casement a suitable send-off in this 100th year of the unfortunate events that led to his tragic death. At this point, I will pause. I would invite you to enjoy the day, and it is my great pleasure to announce the next speaker, the first full speaker of the day, Professor Jane Ohlmeyer.
Just 1 minute.
And I'm going to stop for a minute as Laura has something to say. Thank you.
Okay. Last minute organization, sorry. The chair of Irish Studies, together with the Brazilian Association of Irish Studies, that work always together, have two announcements to be done. As you know, we are always promoting academic exchanges, scholarships, thanks to our partners in Ireland, different universities in Ireland. In this case, we have as a partner, priority partner, is the University of Trinity College Dublin, the University of Limerick, the college, the University of Cork, too. College CC, how are you? UCC. Sorry, UCC. So I would like to call first Rosalie Haddad, who is the associate researcher of the chair and vice president of the Brazilian Association of Irish Studies, to announce a scholarship that is being given to Trinity College Dublin.
Oh, thank you very much, Laura. Well, as an alumna of the University of São Paulo and vice president of ABEI, an associate researcher for the chair of William Butler Yeats of Irish Studies, with the full support of my husband, I decided to give a grant for Brazilian students to attend Trinity College for a master's program in Irish Studies for the length of 1 year, 2016-2017. This scholarship is called the ABEI Haddad Fellowship. Its purpose is to encourage Irish studies abroad and strengthen the links between Ireland and Brazil. This is the second year that this grant will be provided. The first candidate will successfully complete her master's at Trinity this semester. This fellowship will cover the following fields of research: playwriting, Irish writing, early modern history, literary translation. The total value of the grant is 35,000 euros and covers travel costs, living expenses such as room and board, and a year worth of international tuition fee.
Okay, I will call then Rosalie, the Consul General, Sharon Lennon, and Jane Ohlmeyer, who is representing Trinity College Dublin, to receive the edital da voz.
Okay.
Jane, please. Yes, Rosalie, you can give her the editor. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jane, for being here and for representing Trinity College Dublin. You were the first visiting our chair at USC, and thanks to all your links, and we established this network, and thank you very much for that. Thank you. And then the final announcement is, as you know, we have a scholarship for the summer school at the University College Cork. And so we have some registrations, and then the winner is going to be announced by Professora Munira Mutran, the honorary director of the chair.
Com muita alegria, I'm very pleased to announce, declaramos que Aline Serra Teixeira ganhou bolsa outorgada pela University College Cork, a Cátedra de Estudos Irlandeses William Butler Yeats, para assistir o curso Dance Like a Wave of the Sea, Irish Independence in History and Literature, na International Summer School in Irish Studies, de 4 a 29 de julho de 2016. A bolsa se refere à matrícula do curso. Os custos de passagem, acomodação e alimentação não estão incluídos na bolsa. E a Aline? Aline, come to the front.
Aline, come to the front. Okay, so all right. Well, with this, we'll come to an end of this opening of the activities here. I thank you a lot, Consul General Sharon Lennon, because she is very important here in São Paulo to help us with students that are going abroad and coming back and coming here to USP. We hope to have more students from Ireland coming to our university, as much as we can send our own students there. Thank you very much, Professor Mauricio Batista, for being here in the name of Professor Raul Machado, Professora Munira Mutran, and Professora Rosalie Haddad for being the donor of this important scholarship also for Trinity College Dublin. And thank you, Ambassador. And now I leave with you to introduce afterwards Professor Jane Ockelmeyer. Thank you very much.
May I also, before introducing Professor Allmeyer, express my gratitude to Rosalie and Munira for the wonderful work that they've been doing. And in my speeches across Brazil, I always say that education is the bridge between Ireland and Brazil, and despite the difficult times that Brazil is experiencing, the numbers travelling to Ireland to study English and also at university level has never been higher, and we're optimistic that this can continue. So thank you very much. In my enthusiasm to get down to business, I had almost forgot about our two distinguished guests, so my apologies. Perhaps the reason I was wanting to get through so quickly is that Professor Allmeyer's CV is almost as long as my introduction. It's a testament to the high caliber of the speakers that we have today. We also will be fortunate this year to have a visit from the Provost of Trinity College to Brazil, hopefully in the next few months, and we hope to have news about that soon as well. So I will now introduce Professor Allmeyer. Professor Allmeyer is Erasmus Smith Professor of Modern History at Trinity College Dublin, Director of the Trinity Long Room Hub, and Chair of the Irish Research Council. She was the founding Vice Provost for Global Relations 2011-2014. She's an expert on New British and Atlantic histories and has published widely on a number of themes in early modern Irish and British history. Her books include Civil War and Restoration in the Three Stuart Kingdoms, which she's kindly given me as a present, which I look forward to reading. Ireland from Independence to Occupation, 1641 to 1660. Political Thought in 17th Century Ireland, and Making Ireland English, the Irish Aristocracy in the 17th Century. Professor Ohlmeyer has considerable experience in overseeing major editorial projects and helped to secure funding for the digitisation and online publication of the 1641 depositions. She's also the principal investigator for the Trinity College Dublin element of Humanities Serving Irish Society, which was awarded €10.78 million as part of the programme for research in third-level institutions. At that, I will stop and invite Professor Ohlmeyer to come here and deliver her lecture on Roger Casement and the 1916 Rising. On the 1916 Rising. I don't have the programme in front of me, so apologies for being particularly relaxed today, but you will get a lecture on the 1916 Rising from Jane Ohlmeyer. Thank you.